I fit out, and I'm okay with it. But it hasn't always been like that. Do you remember your first experience when you didn't fit in? Maybe it was when you were in elementary school and you didn't make any real friends or find a sense of belonging. Or you tried out for a sports team, you got picked last, or maybe not at all. Maybe you moved to a new community and only found that everyone was already friends with everyone else, and you were simply excluded. My first time not fitting in was the day I was born. I don't remember it, but my mom's told me that story so many times. While in labor with me, the nurses told her, all babies are born with blonde hair and blue eyes. Surprise! I was born very much brown, with brown hair, skin, and eyes. We all experience not fitting in, and the first time can often be painfully memorable. My first real memory of not fitting in was when I was a 5-year-old girl. That was the year I discovered I wasn't white. I was at a new school, and they'd never had any black students or teachers before. It was really clear to everyone that I was different. As the lone black student, I was othered, called racist names, treated badly and excluded were pretty much my everyday experience. I didn't get to experience what all 5-year-olds live for: friendship, fun, and freedom. I tried everything I could to fit in, but I couldn't change the color of my skin. I felt awful. I fit out. As I got older, that fitting out feeling didn't go away. Riding home on a bus one time when I was in grade 6, with no provocation, I was targeted and attacked. As the lone black student, I only ever thought it was because I didn't fit in. Petrified, I hunched over in my seat, like you might if a bear was going to attack you. Protect yourself. Stay really still until it's over. Worried, my mom called the school. Where's my daughter? Where is my child? She didn't get off the bus. The bus driver checks the bus and finds me, scared, hunched over, covered in the spit of other children. Horrified, the principal realizes that this is how students at his school treat their one black student, and he goes classroom to classroom to try and instill empathy with the, imagine what it might feel like to be the only white student in a school full of all black students. Unfortunately, that approach didn't create an environment of empathy, and I think it might have been because he came to it from a mindset of fitting in. I knew for certain there wasn't anything about me that I could change that would make me more welcomed, more accepted, and more included. So I might as well embrace the true me and really, really fully embrace fitting out. Moving to university in a bigger city held the promise of there being many more black people. I would be welcomed. I would finally fit in as me. My hopes were quickly dashed because I found out that I wasn't black enough. My light skin and my white cultural upbringing, the black community said no. I grew up like maybe many typical white families. I idolized the Beatles. I thought all music for a while was either Beatles or Beethoven. We birdwatched, we hiked together, we ate British and German cultural cuisine. While normal for me, compared to the black community at university, I still didn't fit in as a black person. This continued experience of fitting out gave me that sense that I don't belong and I'm not included in my world. I finally realized something, though, that the world has been designed for us to believe that fitting in is the answer. I disagree. I wondered, are there other women of color, women like me, who are experiencing this same struggle? Or have they uncovered some truths or wisdom that I could adopt? I just wondered, could I understand how they were navigating fitting out in a world where fitting in is just so entrenched as the norm? Through my Our Mosaic Lives Passion Project, I interviewed Black Canadian women from all spheres of life. We met over coffee. We shared stories. We shared our struggles. We shared our triumphs and our hopes for ourselves and our future. What I got from each one of them confirmed something I think I've known since I was 5. I'll never fit in. None of us will truly ever fit in, despite the fact we spend much of our lives trying to do it. And what I know now, with complete certainty, is that we need to stop trying to fit in. Fitting out is the key to inclusion. Fitting out is the future. But how will we make fitting out the norm? It starts with shifting our mindsets. We're going to need self-love. Phyllis, one of the women I interviewed in my Our Mosaic Lives project, made me reflect on this. Love yourself and know that you're different in the best way. I hadn't thought about it like that. We need to give ourselves permission. Just do you, no matter what you see or what others tell you. Ava, another friend, her words resonated with me, and I thought they sounded a lot like fitting out. We need to be proud of ourselves. My friend Titi encouraged me, believe in yourself and stop seeking validation from others. She taught me a mantra, I am remarkable. It was a bit hard and a bit uncomfortable because changing our old ways often is. What I know that we have is diversity. Our world is diverse. It's a lot like this puzzle. Each piece is unique and different from the next. Despite how diverse the world is with everyone's different intersectionalities, dimensions, many times I've been the only person of color in a room, a school, and a workplace. But it is changing quickly. Today in Canada, people of color make up 1 in 4. That number is going to increase to 1 in 3 by 2036. In the United States, today, people of color make up 2 in 5. But that's going to really change, almost making up nearly 1 in 2 by 2030. When I think about diversity, though, I feel like something is missing. Like in that puzzle I showed you, there's no connectivity. Just because we've got diversity doesn't eliminate exclusion, injustices, and inequities. I'm sure all of you, like me, can think of a time when someone said, you were like a square peg trying to be fit into a round hole. What a misfit. Let's think about the concept of misfit for a moment. It's flawed. It's founded on that premise I mentioned earlier, that the world is designed for us to believe that fitting in is the answer. Actually, we're all misfits. We know that everyone is different, not just in terms of skin color, gender, or ethnicity, but across a wide spectrum of qualities. Deep inside, we knew we didn't want to fit into that round hole. We wanted to exist as ourselves, our unique selves, our different selves. In fact, we wanted to fit out. We need to bring this to become a norm. And how do we do it? We need to change our world. Each of us needs to find a way to be part of a movement where we can change our world and make it more inclusive together. What we need is to build a place where we can each exist, like in this puzzle, as our unique, individual, and different selves. But we're going to fit out together in unity. It's not going to be as neat and tidy as this. As we're fitting out together, we're going to create a world where we all bring value, where we're all treated as equals and with equity. Here's some things we can do. We need to change the world with our actions. See beyond round holes. Reject saming and exclusion. We need to intentionally raise our awareness of those systems that are designed to keep us fitting in. We'll listen and acknowledge those of us that have been fitting out for our whole lives. And it will unlock our willingness to be different. We'll interrupt, disrupt, and redesign those systems built to reinforce white norms, racial and gender injustices, and other social inequities. We'll recognize value in ourselves and others' differences. And it is going to look like this inclusion puzzle. We need to move beyond diversity. We need to think about inclusion. And we need to launch a movement, not just for ourselves, but for our children's children to look at the world differently. We need to speak out and stand up to create change. I invite you to fit out with me. I'm hopeful that we are going to build an inclusive world where we can all fit out together. What would that feel like? Let me share a story with you. After giving a Black History Month presentation to a kindergarten class, a 5-year-old girl, big blue eyes, came up to the front to ask me a question. In a clear, sincere voice, she asked me, "What does a Black person look like?" I felt all kinds of emotions. I was surprised, I was confused, and then I wondered, what does she see when she looks at me if she doesn't see a Black person? A woman of color? Something else? Her question was so refreshing. Perhaps she just saw me, for me, fitting out as my whole self, a mosaic of different pieces bound, curated all together in a unique being. It gave me hope that we can teach our children that fitting out is the norm. What I felt in that moment stayed with me because I felt like I belonged. We're ending loneliness by creating a fit out movement. We are united in our uniqueness, and we're going to build an inclusive world together. As I reflect on my fitting out journey, on this path to inclusion, I did know one thing, and it stuck with me. I fit out, and so do you.